34 million Americans spend 22 hours a week on average playing video games. Does this drag down or elevate our culture? Should video games be avoided altogether? Are they in themselves harmful? These are the questions we will tackle in this episode of Fight Back. Before we begin, we would like to say that the intention of this video is not to offend anyone who plays video games. Many of us were avid gamers ourselves, but we want to answer the problems people face with video games and search for meaningful solutions. Escape from reality.
Video games are designed to give the player a sense of instant gratification. Whenever a virtual goal is achieved, the player gets a rush and strives to get more and more. Gaming presents an easy escape from the limitations of the real world and offers a virtual reality.
Example, a couple in South Korea allowed their real child to starve to death while they were feeding a virtual child on a game called Second Life. A waste of time.
Another problem with video gaming is the tendency to spend inordinate amounts of time doing nothing meaningful. One could argue that video gaming is simply a pastime or a way to combat boredom. But what's the point of engaging in a pastime that has no palpable accomplishment or any deeper meaning?
Example, according to Boy Genius report, there are currently over 34 million core gamers in the United States, and they're playing video games for an average of 22 hours every week.
22 hours a week is roughly equivalent to a part-time job. Is that really time well spent?
Drug-like effects that rewire the brain. According to a study featured in Neurology Now, a publication of the American Academy of Neurology, 9 out of 10 American children play video games, about 64 million. The study found that excessive gaming before the age of 21 or 22 can physically rewire the brain. Dr. Greenfield is the founder of the Center for Internet and Technology Addiction, and he explains what happens after the video game triggers the dopamine rush. Playing video games floods the pleasure center of the brain with dopamine. That gives gamers a rush, but only temporarily. With all that extra dopamine lurking around, the brain gets the message to produce less of this critical neurotransmitter. The end result? Players can end up with a diminished supply of dopamine.
So the more we play, the more the brain is depleted, which creates more craving and dependency.
Example, this problem is so serious that the government of South Korea treats video games like drugs or controlled substances and has strictly regulated their use. Violence and video games.
There are countless cases of violence and crime connected indirectly to video games. Is it just a coincidence that we see a long death trail in the wake of Grand Theft Auto? One college student stole a car, kidnapped a woman, and slammed into 9 parked vehicles. He said he wanted to play the Grand Theft Auto game in real life. One teenager in Thailand killed a taxi driver, an exact replay of a crime from the game, and Thailand soon banned the game afterwards. Students as young as 6 have acted out drug and rape scenes from the game. It's also noteworthy how some observers have recognized similarities between the virtual riots enacted in Grand Theft Auto and the real-life riots over the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
More crimes are tied to other video games. A 13-year-old boy shot his own mother multiple times and killed her after his Call of Duty game was taken away. A 16-year-old boy killed his mother with a hammer while she was sleeping after she took his PlayStation away. An 8-year-old hung himself after he was scolded for spending too much time playing video games. Gaming to death.
Video game addiction can be so overpowering that players sometimes lose their instinct of self-preservation. Dozens of people have injured and killed themselves while playing video games. A young man was found slumped over his keyboard at an internet cafe after playing over 15 hours. He died of a heart attack caused by the lack of sleep and dehydration. A 20-year-old died from a blood clot after playing 12-hour binges, sometimes staying up all night on his computer. Another man died after 40 hours of binge playing a game called Diablo 3. A 13-year-old girl, while playing video games, calls to her mother, "Mom, I can't breathe." She had a severe heart attack and later died.
when imagination overpowers the mind.
Video gaming allows the imagination to cloud the intellect and then weaken the will. The player sees a virtual world on screen, but interacts with it as if it were real.
Most people would never murder or rape, but if you routinely do these things in virtual reality, it's going to influence your attitudes in everyday life.
Even in simple games like Angry Birds, impulse and imagination rule. The distinction between real and imaginary is blurred.
Respawn is a good example of this blurring. To respawn is to come back to life after being killed. This teaches gamers that acts, such as dying, have no consequences. You can always push a button and come back to life. This behavior feeds the act first, think later culture we live in.
Example, Grand Theft Auto 5 promotes criminal activity, cop killing, and prostitution, while the player virtually walks on recreations of real California streets. It's a world with which you interact and exist. It doesn't feel like a facade that's created around you, said video game architect Aaron Garbut. Grand Theft Auto 5 is so realistic that they used actual Google Maps of real-life locations in Los Angeles with pictures of buildings and places of interest to make the game more lifelike. Can this sugarcoating of evil and blurring of the line between real and virtual reality have a positive effect?
Even if one limits himself and plays a clean game that is free of immorality and violence, it still doesn't satisfy the soul's yearning for meaning and purpose.
Isn't it time we put the controller down? Why pretend to be a fake hero on a screen when you can admire real heroes and actually strive to become one in real life?
Video gaming is a problem that stems from a deep cause. Our culture has lost its appetite for the sublime, the marvelous, and the sacred. At one time, man had a vision of God that permeated all of society and influenced him in every field of life. But in today's world, that higher vision has almost completely disappeared.
God bless you, and thanks for watching. Hello YouTube, we just wanted to take a second to thank you, our loyal subscribers. And if you want to be part of our next video, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and leave a question down below. And if it's good, we'll include it in our next video. Thank you, and God bless.